Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alameen. Wa salatu wa salam ala Rasulillahi wa ala alihi wa sahbihi ajma'een. Rabbi shrah li sadri wa yassir li amri wahlul 'uqdatam min lisani yafqahu qawli. Inshallah, I'll talk about a few ayat from Surah Ibrahim that was recited, started reciting yesterday and we finished up today. The ayat that I talk about today, inshallah, will be from ayah number 18 to, if time permits, up to 20 or 21. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says in Surah Ibrahim, بعد أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم مثل الذين كفروا بربهم أعمالهم كرماد اشتدت به الريح في يوم عاصف لا يقدرون مما كسبوا على شيء ذلك هو الضلال البعيد. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is giving us a parable here about the people who disbelieve, that all the work that they do in this dunya, that will be like karamad. Ramad is ashes. It will be like ashes. All that hard work that they have put into will be like ashes, and on the day of judgment, it will be like those actions will be put as ashes, and a strong wind comes and blows it away. And any one of us who do hard work to achieve something can imagine that you put all your time and effort to assume that you will be successful and you'll gain something out of it, and it just gets destroyed. And that's what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is talking about, the people who disbelieve, and even though this assumingly they think they're doing something good, but without the iman, the actions are not acceptable in front of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And this very concept Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has repeated many times in the Qur'an and many different places. Similarly, in Surah An-Nur, Allah Azza wa Jalla says, وَالَّذِينَ كَفَرُوا أَعْمَالُهُمْ كَسَرَابٍ. That the people who disbelieve, their actions are like a sarab. Sarab means like a mirage. When you come close to it, you think that you're getting close to the water, but there is no water, it disappears. Same thing about the people who disbelieve. They do all the lives, whatever they're doing, it is not acceptable in front of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So this is something important for all of us to remember when we are doing the good deeds. It cannot be accepted in front of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala without the iman. Similarly, just iman without the good deed is not acceptable. Both have to be there, iman and as-salihah. And after that, Allah Azza wa Jalla not only leaves it there, then it says, أَلَمْ تَرَى أَنَّ اللَّهَ خَلَقَ السَّمَاوَاتِ وَالْأَرْضَ بِالْحَقِّ. That Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is saying, don't you see Allah has created the heavens and the earth with the haqq, with the truth? إِن يَشَاء يُذْهِبْكُمْ وَيَأْتِي بِخَلْقٍ جَدِيدٍ. And it is, He can remove you and bring a new creation of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. For Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, it is nothing. So we should not be thinking, if we have achieved something in this dunya, that you become big. Now you have everything in this dunya, you can move around people whichever way you want. No, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, if you think that it is big thing for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to remove you, Allah will remove us and bring somebody else, a new creation of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. وَمَا ذَلِكَ عَلَى اللَّهِ بِعَزِيزٍ. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for Allah, it is not difficult to remove us, to bring somebody else who will do what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala wants from us. And then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala talks about something about the day of judgment. It's in a very interesting manner. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, وَبَرَزُوا لِلَّهِ جَمِيعًا فَقَالَ دُعَفَاءُ لِلَّذِينَ اسْتَكْبَرُوا إِنَّا كُنَّا لَكُمْ تَبْعًا فَهَلْ أَنْتُمْ مُغْنُونَ عَنَّا مِنْ عَذَابِ اللَّهِ مِنْ شَيْءٍ قَالُوا لَوْ هَدَانَ اللَّهُ لَهَدَيْنَاكُمْ سَوَاءٌ عَلَيْنَا أَجَزِعْنَا أَمْ صَبَرْنَا مَا لَنَا مِنْ مَحِيصٍ. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is talking about the judgment. In the hellfire, the people who will be in the hellfire, Allah will to make them appear all their bad deeds, what they have done, what their true faces were. Of course, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala himself knew, Allah knows, whatever we do in this dunya, that will become apparent to them also now. All those people are in the hellfire. And the weak among them, they will say to the strong ones, the one who did the istikbar, that we followed you in the dunya, we were following you. And can you help us to relieve us from the punishment that we are going through? And they would say that if Allah would have given us that guidance, we would have shown you. But now we are all same. The faza' or the jaza' or the punishment, or if we do sabr or we get punished, this is all same. We cannot get away from this hellfire now. So once people are ending up there, the people who are not following Allah Azza wa Jal, this is the picture Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala giving to them. These people, they followed, whether they were political leaders in today's time or even religious leaders. If they followed blindly, not understanding that when they're following him, they are actually disobeying Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. If they're doing that, that's not going to help them. Just because somebody big that we were following, this is not going to be helpful on the Day of Judgment. So we have to follow the commands of Allah Azza wa Jal to be successful. And as a matter of fact, for us as Muslims, we don't even think of these are two different entities to say political leader and religious leader. This is a secular thought of its own. For us as Muslims supposed to do everything according to the command of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. That includes the way the life they are living and all the life affairs and how they worship Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. All those things have to be according to the commands of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So anybody we are following, and if they were on the misguidance and they were the one who were disobeying Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala just because they had power, so we cannot say that this as an excuse on the Day of Judgment. And even them, they will say we can do nothing on the Day of Judgment because it's between Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and us at the day. And then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in a beautiful manner brings in another aspect of the hellfire, which is not only those leaders that people were following, those powerful people, but Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala also, but another person brings in, which is a shaitan. The following ayah talks about shaitan. وَقَالَ شَيْطَانُ لَمَّا قُضِيَ الْأَمْرُ إِنَّ اللَّهَ وَعَدَكُمْ وَعَدَ الْحَقِّ وَعَدْتُكُمْ فَأَخْلَفْتُكُمْ. He says, shaitan says that we will say when the shaitan will say, when the matter has been decided, verily Allah promised you a promise of truth. And I promise you, but I betrayed you. So he will say very clearly, Allah promised you and he was truthful. But my promise was that I betrayed you. وَمَا كَانَ لِي عَلَيْكُمْ مِنْ سُلْطَانٍ. And I did not have any authority over you. I did not have any authority over you. When you followed me, I did not have control to force you to do the things. This is what shaitan will say on the Day of Judgment in the hellfire. It says, وَمَا كَانَ لِي عَلَيْكُمْ مِنْ سُلْطَانٍ إِلَّا أَنْ دَعْوَتُكُمْ فَاسْتَجَبْتُمْ. I can just call you. I was just calling you and you replied. You responded to my call. فَاسْتَجَبْتُمْ لِي فَلَا تَلُومُونِي وَلُؤْمُوا أَنفُسَكُمْ. Do not do the malama to me. Do not accuse me of the things. Accuse your own selves. Whatever you did, that's your action. مَا أَنَا بِمُصْرِخْكُمْ وَمَا أَنْتُمْ بِمُصْرِخِي إِنِّي كَفَرْتُ بِمَا أَشْرَكْتُمُونِي مِنْ قَبْلِ. And he will say, don't cry out to me that I have done something to you. Cry for yourself. Scream for yourself. You have to do for you. إِنِّي كَفَرْتُ بِمَا أَشْرَكْتُمُونِي. And whatever you were making partners with, you're making me as the partner of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. I rejected. I have nothing to do with whatever partnership shirk that you were making you made with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, meaning you followed me instead of following Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Shaitan will betray us on the Day of Judgment. Then it said in the dhalimina lahum adabun alim. And for the oppressor, for the dhalim, there is a severe punishment. After mentioning all this about the punishment of those people who did not follow Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and who followed the people who did not follow Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and the shaitan, and how they will be punished, then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala also talks about the one who believed and did the righteous deeds. They will be in the Jannah. وَأُدْخِلَ الَّذِينَ آمَنُوا وَعَمِلُوا الصَّالِحَاتِ جَنَّاتٍ تَجْرِي مِنْ تَحْتِهَا الْأَنْهَارُ خَالِدِينَ فِيهَا بِإِذْنِ رَبِّهِمْ تَحِيَّتُهُمْ فِيهَا سَلَامٌ. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, and those who believe in the oneness of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, they believe and they did the righteous deed, they will be in the Jannah where there will be anhar, there will be rivers will be flowing under khalidina fiha, and they will be there forever by the will of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And there's greetings therein with salam. So may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala make us among those who will enter into the Jannah by believing and doing the righteous deed by the mercy of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala give us guidance so we can distinguish between the haqq and the batil, and do not follow people blindly that may end up us entering people who are following them blindly in the haram and the kufr, and that can make them enter into hellfire. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala protect from the hellfire and enter us into Jannah for those. Jazakumullah khairan. Subhanakallahumma wa bihamdika nashhadu an la ilaha illa anta nastaghfiruka wa natubu ilayk.